The headlines of this hour on VTV News. National Assembly Standing Committee discusses Urban-Rural Planning Bill. Forum to discuss new initiatives on ASEAN Future Vision. And later on, North Korea tests ballistic missile.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good morning. It is currently 8 a.m. local time and you're tuning in to 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Lin Lei with the latest updates. Now, Prime Minister Pham had a working session with his Lao counterpart, Sonsei Sifandon, who is in Hanoi to attend the ASEAN Future Forum on April the 22nd. The Lao Prime Minister highly valued Prime Minister Pham initiative to organize the event, which attracts representatives of regional and global governments, scholars, and researchers, reflects Vietnam's active and practical contributions to the ASEAN community, and also helps promote the country's role and stature in the region and the world at large. The two prime ministers agreed that the great friendship, special solidarity, and comprehensive cooperation between Vietnam and Laos have continued developing robustly in multiple areas. Defense and security cooperation remains an important pillar and becomes increasingly strong and effective, contributing to defense, security, and social order and safety in each country. Both leaders concurred that their countries will continue coordinating closely and supporting each other at regional and international forums like ASEAN, the United Nations, and the Mekong sub-regional mechanisms. Continuing its 32nd session, the National Assembly Standing Committee debated the draft law on urban and rural planning on Monday. More to follow.
The National Assembly Standing Committee emphasized the need for decentralization in formulating, appraising, approving, adjusting, and managing urban and rural planning to enhance local initiative and responsibility. Deputies expressed concern about the overload of technical and social infrastructure in urban areas.
There should be clear regulations to define the term overload of infrastructure in terms of transportation, water treatment, solid waste treatment, domestic waste treatment, education, and health.
For example, Huan Kiem district has a planning scope of 5 square kilometers. Regarding the criteria of population, the population must be decreased. It's necessary to build master planning for all 4 inner-city districts to balance the population and infrastructure.
Giving comments on the draft law on geology and minerals, deputies suggested there must be a specific explanation of the benefits, costs, and capital sources for mineral exploration. The National Assembly Standing Committee also reviewed the report summarizing the results of supervision of legal documents in the areas of responsibility of the Ethnic Council and National Assembly's committees in 2023. On the same day, the Standing Committee reviewed the supervision results of the National Assembly's supervision team on the implementation of National Assembly's Resolution No. 43 on fiscal and monetary policies and the government's report on proposed amendments to regulations on a number of regimes for members of Vietnamese agencies abroad.
Politburo member Trương Thị Mai, permanent member of the party's Central Committee's Secretariat and chairwoman of the party's Central Committee's Organization Commission, ordered full efforts to have the yellow card warning over illegal, unreported, and unregulated, or IUU fishing lifted this year. The request was made at a meeting held on April the 22nd to disseminate the Secretariat's Directive 32 on enhancing the party's leadership over the IUU fishing combat and the fishery sector's sustainable development. The event was connected with the 28 coastal provinces and cities. Since the European Commission issued the yellow card in 2017, Vietnam has become further aware of the negative impact on the long-term development of the fishery sectors. She emphasized the need for determination to realize the targets and solutions specified in Directive 32. In particular, the very high target is to have the yellow card lifted in 2024. The ASEAN Future Forum 2024, or AFF 2024, will take place in Hanoi on April the 23rd. The forum was initiated by Prime Minister Pham at the 43rd ASEAN Summit in September last year. It aims to create a platform for stakeholders within and beyond ASEAN to share ideas and initiatives to forge a shared vision for ASEAN 2045.
With the participation of nearly 400 delegates, include government members, experts and scholars, the forum is expected to gather constructive ideas to develop ASEAN.
We hope that the forum will be a platform for stakeholders to share and propose their creative ideas and initiatives to government leaders to build strategies and visions for ASEAN in the coming time.
This is a forum where any stakeholders can participate in exchanging ideas to develop ASEAN and help national leaders gather opinions of people in a more practical way.
Amid the regional and international context with challenges such as supply chain disruptions, traditional security challenges, and non-traditional challenges such as climate change, natural disasters, and epidemics, the forum is an opportunity for parties to exchange information and solutions to respond to climate change and ensure social security, putting people at the center of countries' decisions. With its scale, stature, and significance, the ASEAN Future Forum has demonstrated Vietnam's initiative and proactiveness to contribute to cooperation within ASEAN.
One notable highlight of this year's ASEAN Future Forum is the dialogue event between the ASEAN Secretary-General and ASEAN youth at the Vietnam Diplomatic Academy. This presents an opportunity for Vietnamese and ASEAN youth to enhance their understanding of ASEAN and to share their expectations and recommendations for the future direction of the region.
According to the ASEAN Secretary-General, the youth population in ASEAN has surged to over 224 million, representing around 34% of the region's inhabitants. This demographic highlights the substantial potential these young individuals possess. Throughout the forum, delegates from ASEAN nations deliberated on topics relevant to the youth, such as cultural integration, environmental issues, and education.
The ASEAN Future Forum is a great initiative proposed by His Excellency, the Prime Minister of Vietnam. We need to hear the voices of the ASEAN youth because they also have the needs, the interest and concern also. And then trying to do our best to get youth involved and participate in every possible initiatives, programs and activities of ASEAN.
The role of today's youth is undeniably significant. I hope leaders will implement programs and policies targeting youth, empowering them to enhance their awareness and knowledge, thus contributing to the development of a more robust ASEAN community.
On the afternoon of April 22nd, the ribbon-cutting ceremony inaugurating ASEAN Square was held at the Diplomatic Academy of Vietnam. This event serves not only to underscore the significance of regional cooperation, but also to provide a platform for the young generation of ASEAN to voice their perspectives on matters shaping the region's future.
Prime Minister Pham recently issued a directive outlining key solutions to boost socio-economic development. Accordingly, he assigned specific tasks to ministries, sectors, and localities in boosting public investment disbursement in order to attract other resources.
Key traffic projects in Nam Dinh province are currently undergoing construction, with 3 ships comprising 4 crews. As they pass through multiple districts, site clearance takes a long time. As it affects construction progress and project disbursement, investors are taking thorough measures.
The district people's committees and the investor have resolved site clearance problems, so the contractor can speed up the progress.
We are expediting the site clearance process to accelerate capital disbursement. We have established a streamlined process to facilitate payment and settlement, and promptly resolve any issues to ensure disbursement progress.
The State Treasury has directed treasuries in cities and provinces to promote online public services to facilitate capital payments and expedite document processing ahead of regulatory deadlines.
For prepayment and post-control dossiers, it takes 1 working day. For pre-control and post-payment, it takes 3 days. We're trying to shorten this.
As of April the 15th, the accumulated public investment capital based through the State Treasury has exceeded $3.46 billion, equivalent to 13.4% of the assigned plan. Experts suggest that updating and potentially amending current policies on public investment management to align with new laws such as the land law or the bidding law will further accelerate the progress of public investment disbursement.
Coming up next on VTV News. Ho Chi Minh City boosts use of buses powered by green energy. And later on, Vietnamese Phuc circus, farmers' new take on tourism. Now moving on to other important updates, Acting State President Võ Thị Ánh Xuân attended a ceremony in the northern mountainous province of Điện Biên on April the 22nd to launch the National Humanitarian Month 2024. The National Humanitarian Month, jointly organized by the Vietnam Red Cross Society Central Committee and the Provincial People's Committee, will run from May the 1st to the 31st to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the Dien Bien Phu victory and the 70th anniversary to the liberation of Hanoi. At the ceremony, the leader affirmed that over the past 6 years, the Vietnam Red Cross Society has been the core organizer of the Humanitarian Month across the country, contributing to raising public awareness and promoting and spreading the spirit of mutual love among people from all walks of life. As a result, more than $133.5 million has been mobilized and used to help over 5.5 million poor and disadvantaged people throughout the country. At the event, the acting president presented 300 scholarships to ethnic students with good academic performance in Dien Bien province. Ho Chi Minh City has set the goal of effectively controlling emissions from transportation activities by 2025. As such, the city will prioritize electric and green energy buses. However, achieving this goal is far from easy. It requires a complex operational system ranging from charging stations, terminals, to management technology.
Ho Chi Minh City currently has over 2,000 buses. According to the city's transportation sector plan, by 2030, all these buses will be switched to electric or natural gas-powered ones.
The green transformation in transportation must prioritize infrastructure, with 3 key factors being supply capacity, suitable charging station locations, and whether the power can be used on the spot.
One of the challenges for green bus conversion is the lack of planning for terminals and charging stations. The investment costs are significant, estimated at $39 million for charging stations.
One limitation is the power infrastructure and lack of locations for charging stations. Even 10 minutes of charging can become an inconvenience.
The estimated capital for green bus conversion is over $542 million. Most is needed in a vehicle replacement. Currently, planning and comprehensive policies for the development of green buses in Ho Chi Minh City are being discussed and developed.
Regardless whether it uses governmental, private or public-private investment, charging stations must be used to charge all vehicles.
To continue promoting the development of green buses, investors must gain profit from it. Subsidies alone are not enough. Therefore, a policy for green bus conversion needs to involve multiple sectors and stakeholders, rather than simply replacing old buses with new ones.
According to the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, Vietnam's per capita plastic consumption has increased rapidly from 3.8 kilograms per person per year in 1990 to 41 kilograms in 2015 and is currently about 54 kilograms. Fully aware of the harmful effects of plastic waste, many solutions have been implemented to reduce it, including the use of non-recyclable plastics and paper as alternative fuels in cement production. More on this in the following.
More than 200 tons of plastic waste from Minh Khai Plastic Craft Village in Nguyen Province and Chiang Minh Craft Village in Hai Phong City were brought to this factory to be used as fuel for cement production.
The burning of waste in cement kilns is gaining favor around the world as an important waste management option. More waste is added during the clinker process. We have replaced approximately 35 to 40% of coal usage.
This is not the first time the company has substituted coal with alternative fuels. They have previously incorporated industrial and plastic waste into their fuel sources. Traditional technology requires 150 tons of coal dust to generate 1 ton of clinker. However, using plastic waste as fuel decreases the coal dust requirement to just over 100 tons.
This waste treatment method has proven to be effective and economical, as it reduces coal dust in cement production by 10 to 15%. The company has purchased waste from craft villages to produce cement.
Norway has supported Vietnam in using plastic waste as an alternative to coal.
Today, the Norwegian cement industry has replaced 75% of its coal with waste. So this has not only led to reduced GIG emission.
Vietnam's cement industry produces 100 million tons of cement each year and uses about 10 million tons of coal as fuel. The cost of fuel is quite high. The solution of using plastic waste as fuel is expected to be widely applied and could solve both economic problems for businesses and waste problems for craft villages.
The digital era has opened a new space for art lovers. With just a smart electronic device, viewers can admire various types of art regardless of time and location. Digitizing artworks is an effective method for preservation, enabling these works to integrate more seamlessly into modern life. Let's learn more about this new way of experiencing the arts at the Vietnam Fine Arts Museum.
The iMuseum app of the Vietnam Fine Arts Museum, or VFA, provides visitors with information on all the works in 8 different languages. Viewers can even explore the exhibition space with a 3D virtual tour on the website.
I can easily listen to the narration in South Korean, and I am really impressed with the work here.
An online exhibition is being held on the museum's website, making it easy for public to access and interact with the works. This is also more convenient for the artists to publish their works.
Finding information about Vietnamese fine arts can be challenging. However, this platform provides long-term information and images of artwork. As I teach at a university in the US, this is valuable material for my instruction.
Digitization enhances the appeal and experience for visitors. This is a new trend and also the upcoming direction of the VFA regarding advanced technology applications and interactive experiences.
Digitalization showcases the aesthetic, cultural, and historical values of the artworks in more vivid and multi-dimensional manner. Many museums have applied advanced technologies such as virtual reality and augmented reality to improve the art viewing experience. In turn, this is supposed to help put Vietnamese fine art on the world map.
Agritourism is an emerging trend that brings a new source of income for farmers on their own fields and ponds. Farmers have come up with unique and novel tourism models based on the familiar livestock and their evolving creativity. The frog circus is such an example.
You can easily buy a frog from the market with $1.1. But at this commune, frogs are the stars that people view.
The Commune's cooperative has already made a name with flying snakehead fish. So I just thought of trying with the frogs we see every day. Patience is needed when training them because they are still wild animals, amphibians.
Despite the initial difficulties, these frogs can now show off their talents.
In South Korea, there is no frog circus or flying snakehead fish, so I find it very intriguing.
In the coming time, I'll add new tricks like training frogs to balance on seesaws. When the frogs can't perform tricks anymore, I'll release them back to nature like retirement. That's the reward of a free life after all those performances.
Coming up next in our world news. North Korea tests ballistic missile. And later on, Asian currencies experience sharp declines. Now moving on to our world news, the state news agencies of North Korea, KCNA, announced on Monday that the country has conducted a test of a ballistic missile warhead and test launched a new ballistic missile. According to KCNA, the test was conducted on Sunday. North Korea tested the power of a super-large cruise missile warhead, Hwasal-1 and Ra-3, and test launched a new type of anti-aircraft missile in the waters off the western coast of the Korean peninsula. Pyongyang stated that this is part of its regular plan to develop technology in various aspects. This launch by North Korea has sparked strong reactions from neighboring Japan and South Korea. Thousands of Filipino and US troops have begun their annual joint military exercise called BALLISTIC, or Shoulder to Shoulder, on Monday, which will run until May the 10th. About 11,000 US soldiers and 5,000 Filipino soldiers, as well as troops from France and Australia, will take part in the training, mainly held in the north and west of Philippines. France will deploy a warship to join the maritime exercise along ships from the Philippines and the US. 14 countries in Asia and Europe will take part as observers. The Philippines stated that in this year's BALLISTIC exercise, training activities will be conducted outside Philippine territorial waters for the first time. That is also the first time the Philippine Coast Guard participates in this exercise.
As the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the
The US dollar has strengthened against other key currencies as the US economy shows signs of stronger than expected recovery. This fuels the speculation that the Federal Reserve, or Fed, will postpone interest rates cuts amid persistently high inflation. The South Korean won has decreased by more than 7% against the greenback this year, standing at 1,382.2 won per US dollars. This marks the sharpest decline since the 2008 global financial crisis. Meanwhile, the yen remains stable near its lowest level in 34 years at 154.7 yen per US dollar. That is also close to the 155 yen per US dollar level, where the intervention from the Bank of Japan is required. The yen is one of the currencies that has depreciated the most against the greenback this year, dropping by up to 9.8%. This year's Earth Day theme is Planet versus Plastic, aiming to raise awareness of the harmful effects of plastic pollution on human health, animals, and biodiversity. This year's goal is to achieve a 60% reduction in plastic production by 2040 in all countries, ultimately ending plastic use for the health of humans and the earth.
Starting Monday, over 17,000 restaurants in Hong Kong, China, are not allowed to use single-use plastic products such as straws, knives, spoons, plates, and foam food containers.
We cannot continue to abuse plastic, which pollutes the environment. We suggest that the government allocate more resources to reuse rather than single-use plastics. This is how to address the root of the problem.
The scale of current recycling programs cannot keep up with the amount of plastic being produced. Research from the United Nations Environment Programme shows that the world produces 400 million tons of plastic annually, but less than 10% is recycled. With the current rate of plastic consumption and the lack of improvement in plastic waste management, by 2050, there will be about 12 billion tons of plastic waste worldwide. This will cause serious environmental pollution and have negative impacts on human health.
We all need to get involved and understand what kind of packaging we have, what kind of waste we have, how it can be recycled, how we can do that most efficiently. It really does take buy-in from the consumer and buy-in from ordinary citizens in order to deal with waste most efficiently.
Plastic pollution has become so severe that in 2022, countries around the world agreed to begin negotiations on a global plastic treaty to address this issue. The fourth negotiation session will begin in Ottawa, Canada, on Tuesday, April 23rd. While it is not certain when the first global agreement on addressing plastic pollution will be reached, all parties agree that urgent action is needed to reduce both plastic production and usage.
And now let's have a look at the weather forecast from Vietnam and other locations in the world. And that is all that we have for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can visit our website or YouTube channel or download a mobile app VTVgo for more. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.